Alright, today we're going to take a look at another one of our lighting optimizations or sort of appearance options for our lighting. A couple days ago we did a lesson on how to make a glow effect on a spotlight, and today we're going to do a glow effect on sort of an omnidirectional point light. So this would be like, your light bulbs. You could do this with lamps. And anywhere you've got a light, and we're going to add sort of the glow effect to them. So first, let me go ahead and run this and show you what it looks like. So we'll compile the map. Alright, let's see, where am I? Alright, so if you take a look here, the light on the right has the glow halo effect, the light on the left does not. And if we go up closer to them, you can see as I get closer and further, the light bulb gets nice and bright, and it gets a nice glare effect. And it looks a little bit more like what we would expect a light bulb to look like. If you stare directly at a light bulb, especially a higher wattage light bulb, you're going to get this kind of glow effect here. Versus this, where, we've got light emitting in this area. However, the light bulb just looks odd because it's just a light bulb sitting there. Whereas this one, I've probably got it a little high, but it does give me a nice glow effect on the light bulb. And then as we back away, you can see sort of the halo ring around it. So it's really simple. We're going to add this to some of our lights today, so we'll take a look at how to do this. So first off, let's look at all the pieces for this. So we've got our light entity, which is just a regular light, nothing special about it. It's just our regular point light that we use, throughout the game. And then up here, we've got the prop. There's the prop right there. So this is just my prop static, and if you want to follow along, this one is just called ceiling light. I think it's a Half-Life prop, but any light will work. This glow effect works on any prop that you have. Alright, so this is my prop. And then finally, we've got the glow entity, which is this guy right here. So to create this glow, you're going to go to your entity tool, come over here, you're going to type in env sprite, okay, env sprite, and when you drop it in, you're going to get this little black box thing that looks like this, little red box with a black box around it. Okay. Now, once you drop that in, you're going to double click on it, and we're going to look at a few settings. They're really easy to set up. Render mode. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So for the render mode, we're going to switch that to world space glow. All right. And then you should get the clear around it. Now yours won't be this big because I've adjusted the size of mine. So we'll play with that here in a second. But step one is render mode. We're going to change it to world space glow. FX amount. So what this does, the maximum is 255. And the minimum is 0. So this is how much the glow effect is going to be showing in the game. So 255 is going to be as glowy as it can get, and then of course 0 is going to be off. So play around with the numbers. You're going to kind of just do whatever looks good for your particular map. I'm going to go with 200. The FX color amount. So this is the color that the sprite is going to be in game. Now, like with the spotlight, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my light bulb, and I'm going to go to the brightness, and remember these first 3 numbers here, that's the color of the light. So if I just copy those, and then I go back to the sprite, the FX color, and I just paste those values in here, that's going to be the color of the glow. So normally you're going to want it to match your light bulb, so that's the easiest way to do it. Alright, we'll go down here to where it says Sprite Name. So click Browse, and depending on if you have any other assets installed, that'll determine how many of these you have. But basically we're looking for the ones that look like a glow, like these, okay? And, you know, it really, you know, you pick the one that you like. Glow 06 is pretty nice. That's the one that I see a lot of tutorials use. Now you're not going to see a massive change here. The color's not going to match up or anything, but this will give you a general idea of kind of what it's going to do. So you can go through, and we're looking for these ones, okay? The ones that look like a flashlight or a glow. So I'm going to go with the one called Glow 06. You know, you could do whatever one you want, but I'm going to stick with that one. All right, scale. So this is going to change the size of the glow, the box that goes around it, and this is sort of how big this glow can get. So and it accepts decimals, so 1 is pretty big, 2 is going to be massive. So I'm just going to go with this one. I'm going to go ahead and put it at 1 like I had it before. Size of glow proxy geometry. So what this one does is we're going to put this sprite inside of a prop. And so we have to tell it how many game units, you know, whatever the hammer units, they're a little bit less than an inch. But we're telling it how many game units it can glow outside of a prop. So if you have this at 0, it's not going to be able to get out of the light bulb. If we zoom in on this, my sprite, this is my sprite here, okay? So the sprite, here's the light bulb, that X is the center of the light bulb, and this is my sprite. So when I put them together, I match them up here, you can see that there's at least 2 units here for the glow to get outside. So if I were to set that parameter here, the size of glow proxy geometry, if I set it to say 1, my glow from the center here might not get outside of the light bulb. So I have it to 5, which, you know, is going to be way out here, but I could probably get away with, you know, 3 or 4. But, you know, if your glow isn't showing, probably what happened is you didn't push it out far enough. Now, you don't want to go way outside of it because we don't want this glow shining on the outside of the house and stuff. We're trying to find sort of the edge of the prop. So for this light bulb, 4 ought to do, 3 would probably work. All right. Now, for placement of this sprite right here, all you're going to do is you're going to find your prop. So in this case, I've got this light bulb right here. This is the light bulb prop. I'm going to take my sprite and I'm going to line it up with the center of the light bulb. And then don't forget, from the side view here too, you can see this is my sprite and I lined it up with the center of the light bulb. So if you're doing a lamp or a hanging light bulb or, you know, any kind of light fixture, generally I would put the glow sprite kind of in the center of where the light bulb is at. So for this one, this looks like a pretty good spot here. It's pretty centered. And don't forget to check it. You know, we're in 3 dimensions here, so you want to make sure that it's in the right spot. Okay, so make sure you check it in all different angles. Now let's go ahead and compile. And reload my map. Alright, so now I switched it to Glow 06, so it's a little bit more subtle than the original one that I did. So here's a light without the glow, and here's a light with the glow. There's a little difference. You can see this one has kind of a halo effect around it, especially as I back away from it, versus this one. When I stare at the light bulb, you can see this one's quite a bit brighter than this one. Everything's the same on these 2 lights, except the one on the right has a ENV sprite to give it a glow. So it adds a nice effect. I think, you know, it makes the lights look more realistic versus, you know, this, which works, but when you see it versus one with a little halo kind of HDR glow effect on it, it looks a little bit nicer. So so that's ENV Sprite. They're really simple. It's ENV Sprite. You can pick whichever one of these glows you want. I could switch to this one, see if that one works. Now, you might run into some glitches if you're running sprites from other games, if you've got Left 4 Dead or something like that on here. So if it doesn't work, try a different sprite. Also, make sure your geometry proxy is set so that the glow can get out of the object. Actually, that one looks pretty good. Might be a little bright. Yeah, that's a little bright. But you can see totally different glow effect there. So now if it's too bright, what do I do to fix that? Well, I go back here, and remember this FX amount right here. I can change this. Let's try 150 and see if I can decrease the glow just a little bit on that one. And let's reload my map. It looks okay. I'd probably go a little bit higher than that. But I do think the light bulb looks pretty good. Like that definitely looks kind of like staring at a light bulb versus this one. I mean, it's a light bulb, but it definitely doesn't look like, this doesn't really look like it's glowing. It looks like a white prop. This looks like it's glowing. Alright, so check teams for the assignment. These are ENV sprites.